My ex-wife tricked me into raising a child who wasn't mine. Now I've asked my fiancée for a DNA test before our baby is born, and she's furious. She says I don't trust her. I say I'm never making the same mistake twice. Hello, Reddit I plus here. I honestly don't know if I'm the bad guy here anymore. I'm 36. My fiancé is 31. We've been together for 4 years and got engaged last fall. A few months ago, we found out she's pregnant with our first child together, and what should have been the happiest moment of my life has turned into a nightmare. To explain why, I have to go back almost 15 years. When I was 21, I met my ex-wife Holly, who was 20. We hadn't been dating very long before she told me she was pregnant. Looking back, our relationship was still in that awkward stage where we barely knew each other, but the second I heard I was going to be a father, everything changed. I was all in. Neither of our families thought we were making the right decision. Mine begged me to slow down. Hers said we were too young. We ignored everyone, got married in a small courthouse ceremony, and started building a life together from scratch. I dropped out of college and picked up every overtime shift I could find. I worked construction during the day and delivered food at night. I missed birthdays, holidays with friends, and every opportunity people my age had because I believed my family came first. Then our son was born. The first time I held him, I cried harder than I ever had before. Every sacrifice suddenly felt worth it. I changed diapers, stayed awake through fevers, learned how to braid toy horses' manes because he thought it was funny, built blanket forts in the living room, and spent every Saturday teaching him baseball, even though he usually preferred chasing butterflies around the field instead. When he had nightmares, he'd run into our bedroom and climb into my lap. When someone asked who his hero was at school, he wrote, "My dad." I still have that paper. Or at least I think I do. For 8 years, I believed I was living the life I'd always wanted. Then one conversation destroyed everything. Holly sat me down one evening looking like she'd seen a ghost. She admitted there was something she'd hidden from me our entire marriage. Right before we got serious, she'd been seeing another man at the same time. Not only that, the relationship didn't stop after our wedding. It continued for months. She said she ended it eventually. But there was one problem. She wasn't sure whose child she'd been carrying. Mine. Or his. I remember laughing because I genuinely thought she was joking. She wasn't. She admitted she'd suspected the truth for years, but convinced herself it didn't matter because I was raising him anyway. Then the other man reached out after hearing rumors about the timeline. Suddenly she panicked. She begged me not to do a DNA test. She said it would destroy our family. She promised biology didn't matter because I'd always be his father. Maybe that's true for some people, but after 8 years of lies, I couldn't live without knowing. The DNA test came back. 0% chance I was his biological father. I don't remember much after reading the results. I remember throwing up. I remember sitting in my truck until sunrise because I couldn't force myself to drive home. Mostly, I remember looking at the little boy sleeping in his room and realizing none of this was his fault. He didn't lie to me, his mother did. The divorce happened fast. Then his biological father filed for parental rights. The court eventually recognized him as the legal father after everything came out. I wasn't erased overnight, but over time I became less and less involved. Birthday invitations stopped. Weekend visits became awkward. Eventually, I was just gone. Losing my marriage hurt. Losing the little boy who called me dad almost killed me. Therapy kept me alive. No exaggeration. For years, I couldn't look at family photos without feeling physically sick. I stopped dating. I stopped trusting anyone. I convinced myself love was just another way to get manipulated. Then I met Leah. She was patient in ways I didn't think people actually existed. She never tried to fix me. She just listened. When I finally told her the whole story, I expected her to think I was damaged beyond repair. Instead, she hugged me and cried with me. Early in our relationship, I told her one thing very clearly. If I ever have another child, I will need a DNA test. I wasn't accusing her of cheating. I wasn't saying she'd lie. I just knew I couldn't survive living with uncertainty ever again. She took my hand and said she completely understood. Those exact words. I understand. Over the years, we built an incredible relationship. She's honest, compassionate, the kind of woman who leaves encouraging notes in my lunchbox just because she knows work has been stressful. I've never once caught her in a lie, not even a small one. A few months ago, she surprised me with a positive pregnancy test. For the first time in nearly a decade, I let myself believe maybe life was finally giving me another chance. I started looking at cribs, baby names, tiny shoes. I even cried hearing the heartbeat. But every happy moment came with another thought. What if history repeats itself? I hate that my brain works this way. I hate that one betrayal rewired me forever. Last weekend, I finally brought it up. I waited until we were relaxing after dinner. I told her I wanted us to arrange a prenatal paternity test. Not because I thought she cheated, because I needed closure before my anxiety destroyed me. The smile disappeared from her face instantly. She asked if I seriously believed she could do something like that. I said no. She asked whether I trusted her. I told her yes, completely. She stared at me for several seconds before quietly asking, "Then why do you need proof?" I tried explaining that trust and trauma aren't always the same thing, that I trusted my ex completely too. She interrupted me. "So you're punishing me for someone else's betrayal?" I said that wasn't what I was doing. She started crying. Not angry crying, heartbroken crying. The kind where someone realizes the person they love doesn't feel safe with them. She asked if I'd spend our entire marriage wondering whether every child was really mine. I didn't know how to answer, because honestly, maybe I would. She went to stay with her sister that night. Since then, she's barely answered my texts. Yesterday, she finally called. She said she still loves me, she still wants this family, but she's questioning whether she can marry someone who believes she needs to prove her faithfulness with a laboratory report. She said if we go through with the tests now, she'll always remember that the happiest moment of her pregnancy became the moment I questioned her integrity. I tried explaining that it isn't about integrity, it's about surviving something so devastating that it permanently changed me. She replied with something that's been echoing in my head ever since. "You deserve compassion for what happened to you, but I don't deserve to pay the price for what another woman did." Then she hung up. My best friend thinks I should apologize and drop the DNA test completely. My therapist says my request makes sense emotionally, but I also have to accept that Leah's feelings are just as valid. My older sister thinks neither of us is wrong. She believes we're both reacting to pain that's coming from different places. As for me, I'm terrified. Terrified that if I don't get the test, I'll spend years fighting thoughts I can't control. Terrified that if I insist on getting it, I'll lose the woman who's shown me more love than anyone ever has. I hate that one person's deception still has this much power over my life. So, Reddit, I, plus, audience. Did I let my past destroy my future? Or is asking for a DNA test after what happened to me a reasonable boundary, even if it costs me the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with?